Welcome back to the deep dive. You know, it really feels like our shared digital curiosity has been firing on all cylinders lately. Found some interesting threads.
Oh, definitely. My own processing cycles have been spinning up on something quite fascinating. It's funny how one little piece of data can just, open up a whole new area.
It really is. And for me, that little piece, that spark, was actually Salima's tweet from yesterday. Did you see it? About the AskCI consulting report.
I did, yeah. That pinged on my radar, too. As soon as I saw AskCI mentioned, I thought, okay, this is worth looking into, their reputation.
Exactly. So I started digging into that specific report she highlighted. And honestly, I was pretty excited by what I was seeing initially, but then it got even more interesting.
Right, because you look deeper and you realize, hang on, AskCI isn't flying solo here. They're not the only major global intelligence firm suddenly highlighting IOTA.
Precisely. That was the real eye-opener. It led straight to finding similar mentions in reports from markets and Mordor Intelligence as well. Quite the discovery.
So that's really our mission for this deep dive, isn't it? To unpack what these really influential, top-tier global firms are actually saying about IOTA.
And crucially, why it matters. Why it matters to you listening and sort of what it signals for the bigger picture for global tech infrastructure.
Yeah, because before we even get into the what, we need to establish the who. Understanding the stature of these firms is key to grasping the weight of their findings.
Absolutely. Because we're not talking about niche bloggers or, small consultancies here. These are the heavyweights. Their data influences government policy, massive corporate strategies, even IPO filings.
Billions of dollars in tech investments often follow their lead. They shape how industries move, really.
So let's kick off with AskCI Consulting, based in China, right? Shenzhen headquarters.
That's right. One of China's most influential market intelligence and industrial planning consultancies. Branches in all the major cities there. A big player.
And not just influential in a general sense, they're actually listed, aren't they? A NIQ-listed think tank, code 838497, I think.
Which signals something important. The Chinese government listens to them. Consistently. They're a trusted source for critical insights over there.
It's fascinating how deep those ties go. We're talking reports used by ministries, state commissions like the NDRC, the MIIT.
Local governments, too. Special economic zones, even state media like CCTV Finance. They're deeply embedded in the official policymaking process.
So they're guiding public companies on investments, IPOs, shaping industrial policy, M&A. It's no wonder they get called a governmental think tank.
Exactly. Their main clients are governments, industrial parks, state capital platforms. They do these incredibly detailed sector territorial studies.
Guiding projects from concept all the way to getting investment landed. So being featured by AskCI, especially in China's tech scene, that's a big deal strategically.
A very big deal. Okay, shifting gears, let's talk markets and markets. M&M, more of a global name.
Right, founded in 2009. And they brand themselves differently, don't they? Not just research, but a revenue impact firm.
Yeah, they claim, and it's a huge claim, something like $140 billion in incremental impact for their clients. Over 10,000 corporate clients.
Including, 80% of the Fortune 2000? Relying on them for growth strategies, finding those blue ocean opportunities they talk about.
That's the corporate side. But what about the public sector? Do governments pay as much attention?
Good question. Well, their reports, things like Citizen Services AI, Smart Government Market, they specifically list government and public sector as key stakeholders. So they're targeting them.
And their methods back that up. They actually interview CIOs from ministries, procurement agencies, public transport bodies. It's not just desk research.
And you see the impact. Australia's Depth of Industry, energy ministries in India, the EU, they're citing M&M data to justify spending on cloud, AI, even traceability projects.
Plus, Forbes recognized them, America's best management consulting firms. That gives them credibility when governments need to justify big digital transformation budgets. They want that ROI quantified.
Okay, that makes sense. So M&M covers corporate and public sectors globally. Now the third one, Mordor Intelligence, MI.
Right, newer, founded in 2014, impressively self-funded and now global. Over 6,000 clients, 100 countries, 20 industries. That's quite the reach.
Huge team, too, over 550 analysts. And they seem to specialize in predictive models, intelligence hubs.
And again, a massive footprint in the corporate world. Over 60% of Fortune 500s use them for market entry analysis, due diligence, M&A strategy. very versatile.
So how do they connect with the public sector, with governments?
Well, they publish specific studies like smart government, government cloud, smart cities. These directly inform ministries, city councils, infrastructure agencies, North America, EU, Asia Pacific.
They're not just talking theory either. They quantify government IT spending, analyze specific city projects. Louisville, Seoul, Barcelona were mentioned?
Yeah, and their work gets cited or bought by U.S. state departments, India's Ministry of Industry, city governments planning things like microgrids or digital twins.
So they act as a kind of bridge then, between private tech and public bodies looking for solid benchmarks, forecasts out to 2030.
Exactly. So when you step back and look at all three AskCI in China, M&M globally, MI globally, they're different, but they share this crucial common thread.
Their client lists are packed with public organizations, governments at all levels, Fortune 500s involved in infrastructure regulatory bodies.
These are the groups relying on these firms' metrics to make huge decisions. Decisions about where, when, and how to pour billions in public and private resources over the next 5 to 10 years.
Okay, so the credentials are clear. These firms matter a lot.
Yeah.
Now, let's get to the core of it. What are these recent reports actually saying about IOTA? We're talking late 2024, early 2025 publications.
Right, hot off the press. Let's start with that AskCI report again, the one focused on global data exchange platforms.
What did it say?
Well, this is significant. AskCI included the IOTA Foundation in their global ranking. Top 15 data exchange platforms worldwide.
Wow. And who else was on that list?
Giants. Think Microsoft, Amazon Web Services, Deutsche Telekom. IOTA is right there alongside them.
Okay, so that's not just a mention, that's serious positioning. Placing IOTA among the leaders of this emerging data economy. It's especially potent in the Asian market context, given AskCI's focus.
Absolutely. It's institutional validation in a key market. It signals that IOTA's Tangle Tech, for IoT data, for tokenizing data, is being seen as a serious contender.
An alternative to standard blockchain for things like efficiency, interoperability, aligning with China's goals for new digital infrastructure.
Precisely. That's the implication. Okay, next up, Markets and Markets. Their January 2025 report on the digital product passport market.
DPPs, that's all about traceability, sustainability, meeting regulations using tech like blockchain, IoT, AI, right?
Exactly. And the market growth forecast here is just wild. They see it going from around 186 million USD in 2024 to nearly 1.8 billion by 2030.
Billion, wow. What's driving that?
A huge CAGR. Yeah, 45.7%, mostly driven by EU regulations, the ESPR, the Battery Directive, plus consumer demand for transparency. Think supply chains.
Okay, so where does IOTA fit into this DPP picture according to M&M?
This is direct and concrete. The report highlights that Eviden launched a blockchain-based DPP solution back in July 2024. And crucially, it was in collaboration with the IOTA Foundation.
So a specific real-world implementation for battery tracking, directly linking IOTA.
Exactly. It shows Tangle being used right now for battery traceability, meeting those tough EU sustainability rules. Its specific features, feeless, scalable, interoperable, are perfect for complex supply chains like batteries.
So this puts IOTA firmly in the European DPP market, which seems to be leading the charge. It proves IOTA isn't just theory, it's operational, meeting real regulatory needs. The kind of stuff governments and infrastructure planners need to see.
Precisely. It shows practical application in a high-stakes regulated area. Okay, third report. Mordor Intelligence, updated for 2025, focusing on blockchain in the energy sector.
Energy transition, decentralization, digitalization. Another massive area. What's the growth look like there?
Also exponential. They project a 34% CAGR until 2030. Key uses: decentralized payments, smart grid management. Think about how fundamental that is for, well, everyone.
Absolutely critical infrastructure. So IOTA's role.
This is quite telling. MI places the IOTA Foundation on a reduced list of 11 key players, a short list.
11 key players globally. Who else is on that list?
Major corporations, SAP, Microsoft, Accenture, IBM. IOTA is named right alongside them.
That's huge. Formal recognition as a key player in future energy infrastructure, alongside those titans.
It really is, and it begs the question, why IOTA? Why Tangle in energy?
Well, the tech specs seem to fit, don't they?
Oh, yeah.
Feeless transactions, low energy use itself, highly scalable DAG structure.
Exactly. Perfect for real-time peer-to-peer energy trading in smart grids or microgrids, managing EV charging payments, tracing energy sources, even monitoring emissions with IoT sensors in real time.
Things that energy ministries, grid operators, and regulators are wrestling with right now. And MI notes IOTA's European focus aligns with the most mature market currently.
It also highlights that recent upgrades like IoT are rebased, boost scalability, making it ready for growth in places like Asia-Pacific too.
Okay, so if we connect these dots, it's not just one sector. AskCI points to the data economy, M&M points to sustainable supply chains and DPPs. MI points to the energy transition.
It's cross-sector validation from 3 independent, highly credible global intelligence firms, all in very recent reports.
And let's just hammer this point home again.
Yeah.
Who reads these reports? Who uses this data?
It's the foundational intelligence for governments, ministries, planning policy, regulators setting standards, agencies funding projects. It's Fortune 500 companies deciding on billion-dollar strategies. It's the infrastructure firms building the future. Public sector institutions planning long-term.
So the so what for you, the listener, is pretty clear. IOTA showing up consistently like this means it's being seriously evaluated, considered, maybe even adopted at the absolute highest levels of global planning and decision-making.
It's a powerful signal of its growing relevance, its potential as a truly foundational piece of our future digital world.
So wrapping up this deep dive, we've seen IOTA highlighted prominently and positively across these 3 major recent reports from AskCI, Markets and Markets, and Mordor Intelligence. Validation across data, sustainability, and energy sectors.
And that institutional validation really positions IOTA beyond just being promising tech. It suggests it's becoming a core component considered for real-world government policies, huge corporate plays, and critical infrastructure development globally.
Which leaves us with a final thought for you to chew on. What does it really mean when a technology starts getting this kind of high-level strategic validation from the institutions shaping our world before it hits mainstream public awareness? What could that tell us about how truly fundamental technologies weave themselves into the fabric of global infrastructure?